What's going on, guys? Jeff here for Premium Aquatics, and today we got a brand new package. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at what we got inside. Alright, we got the Kamoer. This is the X1 Pro 2 micro pump. So this is the Pro 2 Kamore. And then we got the good old-fashioned OG Kamore. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at both these products. Alright, so we got the Kamore X1 Pro 2 and the Kamore X1. Let's start off with the X1 first, since that's the OG Kamore. Very nice packaging, got some QR codes there. User's manual. Link to a very helpful video. Alright, so we got some tubing so we can dose our fluids. We got the motor for the doser to be a power plug, connections for the doser so you can connect the tubing, a connection cord so you can daisy chain multiple Kamores together, a graduated cylinder so you can calibrate your dosing pump, an adapter, hook up that connection device or the plug. There you go. That's done. And then the body of the doser itself. It's got little grippy feet. Those are pretty, they got some grip to them, a little bit of bite. So that's gonna stay wherever it is. It's not gonna vibrate off. What I really like about these Kamore pumps is you have the ability to daisy chain multiple pumps together. I couldn't find out how many of these you could actually put in sequence. I did find that information out on the Pro 2, but we'll get into that in a second. Typically what I do with my dosing pumps is I have them sitting on something, so you have the ability, to have that fluid drain down. Now I can see, there'd probably be a number of different benefits of having it in different directions or different orientations. But for this instant, we're going to go ahead and put that facing down. So all I did was just slide it onto that pin right there, and then it's going to clip in place. Now, the other benefit to this is being able to replace that pump, because those wheels that are inside that do wear out over time, and it's always good to make sure that you are having a fresh pump if you need one. Just in case. So now it's going to be kind of hard to set that down. So we got our graduated cylinder, our daisy chain cord, the doser itself, power cord, tubing, instructions. This is essentially everything that you're going to need to get this guy up and running. And also you're going to need your cell phone to connect to the device. Something I really like about the way that they designed this pump is how easy it actually is to remove this pump. Now, there's been quite a few dosing pumps that I've used over the years. It's pretty hard to take that pump head off, but what Kamore has done here is made it pretty simple. All you do is push on these little tabs right here on both sides, and you're able to pull that head right off the doser very simply, and then it clicks right back in place. So let's say that you do place it, pointing down, and find out that that is going to work out great for your situation. Maybe it's off to the left. That's going to work a little bit better. There you have it. You can make an adjustment to it pretty easily. Alright, so that's everything that comes included with the Kamore X1. You have the ability to be able to dose up to 12 times per day, and as little or as infrequent as one time every 30 days. And we'll get into the software here in a minute. Now, as far as fluid volume goes with this pump, you have the ability to dose 1 milliliter all the way up to 6,000 milliliters in a single dose. And as far as the accuracy goes with this guy, it's give or take 2%. It's very important to make sure that you calibrate this to start, which I'm sure once we get into the app side of it is going to call for that. and graduated cylinders, they're always good to have kicking around. You'll need that for the calibration process. Alright, so that's everything with the X1. Let's go ahead and take a look at the X1 Pro 2. Alright, so the Kamore X1 Pro. Now, for some folks, they might be thinking, well, why are we going to look at both these products in the same video? It probably deserves its own video. You're probably right with that. The biggest difference between these is the functionality that you're going to get with the X1 Pro 2, which is substantially more than what you get with the X1. That's not to say that the X1 isn't going to serve a lot of folks and be able to, help folks with their dosing needs for their reef tanks or saltwater tanks. But for those of us out there that need a little bit more, that's where the X1 Pro 2 comes into play. So I imagine the unboxing process is going to be pretty similar to the X1. So we've got a little bit more formal of a operator's manual. Take a look at that here in a second. We have our tubing for our doser, another graduated cylinder, the pump head itself, which is incredibly similar to the X1, our connection tubes, a couple of screws, which I don't know if that came with the X1 or not, but a couple of screws for mounting, a little bit smaller of a power supply for the Pro. This is for the Kamore X1. I did not find out how many X1s that you could have strung together, and that might be due to the fact that you have a bigger adapter here. You can string 4 X1 Pro 2s with one power source, so that might be the difference in size here as far as adapters go. And then you got the pump itself. I really like the black. The mounting brackets built right into the back. I'm not sure if that's the same over here. Nope, that is not the same. You have the same feet. Really like that body style quite a bit. You have the ability right there to do the daisy chains, stepper motor. Pretty certain that that's the exact same head that you'll get between the X1 and the X1 Pro. And again, you still have the ability to have this set up in any direction that you want. Let's go ahead and have that face to the right. Nice click sound so that you know that you're in there. I really like that body style quite a bit. Right, there you have it. There is everything that comes with the X1 Pro 2. You have the dosing pump, the head for the doser, tubing, the connections for the tubes. You have 2 screws to be able to mount the dosing pump on some surface, your power supply, and your graduated cylinder for calibration. So some of the differences between the Kamore X1 Pro and the X1. This guy can do a lot more for you from a dosing standpoint. It can dose up to 24 times per day and as infrequent as once every 99 days. There are some scenarios that would call for some infrequent dosing where I think that this is probably one of the most ideal pumps out there for that. As far as fluid volume, this guy can do 0.1 milliliters all the way up to 9,999 milliliters, and the accuracy between the Pro 2 and the regular is about the same. You have that give or take 2%, but it is important to make sure that you are calibrating your dosing pump every 4 to 6 weeks. So as far as the biggest differences between these two products, you have one that is a little bit more users friendly, a little bit more intuitive from a single use dosing pump. It does a lot of the work for you. As far as being able to dial it in and kind of get, down to the 0.0 millimeters, that's really where the X1 Pro is going to come into play. But as far as both these products are considered, they're relatively easy to set up, relatively easy to use, and it really just comes down to what is going to work for you and your reef tank. Do you need to get down to the 0.1 milliliters to be able to control the amount of fluid that is going into your system, regardless of whatever that type of fluid is, or you go with just adding 1 milliliter at a time. The more control that you need, I would say that the Pro 2 is probably going to be the answer for you. But if you're just good with adding a milliliter here or there, I think the X1 is going to work great for you. So if you want to take a look at either one of these products, there's going to be links in the description below, which will bring you to Premium Aquatics, where you can do some more research or even pick some up for yourself.